On today's video, we're looking at the Superman 4K Steelbook Edition to find out if it is worth getting, if you should get this versus the normal release, and if it has all the bonus features and it's just a wonderful, perfect 4K release. Just kidding, there's a bunch of stuff missing. We gotta go over that too.
It's morphin' time!
Hello, this is Soundout here, and today's video is kind of weird because we have a brand new 4K box set for the Superman films. The first 4 Superman films finally got the 4K treatment. The first one had gotten it a few years ago, but now we have all of them in one box set. And it's great because Christopher Reeve's Superman is an iconic version of the character. For many people, he is the Superman, and that is impressive considering arguably only one of his movies is really good and the other one's like okay, and then 2 of them are mostly forgettable and kind of bad. But Christopher Reeve is the shining bright spot of a lot of it, and a lot of the supporting cast as well. The cast really carry these movies, especially, 2 through 4, honestly. And I think that the great thing about it is that these are movies that people did want to own on 4K. People were like, yeah, give me Superman 3 and 4 on 4K. Make me buy it in a box set so it makes it feel better when you put it all together, but people did really want these movies on 4K. And unfortunately, I think that unlike when we got the Batman movies on 4K a few years ago, Warner Brothers cut some corners here. And so the thing is that I still like this set, and we will talk about what I like about it, but I am a little disappointed by it. And I think that's going to be kind of conflicted feelings because I do think the actual films themselves here are great. But let's talk about what's not so great about it, as well as what is. It's a mixed bag. This is like a total mixed bag of a video. It's kind of when I started on camera to just say that, like, I really love these movies, or at least I love these characters in these movies, and I wish this set was a little bit better. So let's dive into it, let's dig into it, and find out what's the good, what's the bad, and what's missing from the Superman 5 film collection. So before we get into the details of the contents, I did want to look at the packaging and talk specifically about that. This is the Steelbook Edition, which was an exclusive to Amazon. Features the movies in Steelbook in a big old steel box. I kind of envisioned it as the evolution of the original Ultimate Collector's Edition Superman set, which came in a big box that was a lot thinner. This gigantic thing is really big. Personally, if I were, not super into the idea of, oh, this is the evolution of this, which we'll talk about how it really isn't. This is a lot more featured than this, but, this set, I think, gives kind of that same vibe. I love big, stupid box sets, and I do mean big. This thing is quite large. Here is the NECA 7-inch Superman figure. It's kind of dwarfed by the size of this packaging. I do appreciate that the overall box is a steel box for steelbooks with the foam padding, even though a cardboard box would be a little bit smaller. Now, what's interesting about this is this was an Amazon exclusive, but it showed up in good shape, mostly because I got to give credit to Warner Brothers where I can. They put it in this nice double-layered shipping box that had like a street date on it and everything. Like, this set was pretty well packed. I got to give credit where credit is due. They didn't trust Amazon to deliver it safely. So it did turn out nice. Now, the only unfortunate part about this set is if you take this cardboard sleeve off, it's not going to hold together. And what I mean by hold together is it looks great there. You can see the big old S shield, and it looks good there. But as soon as you go to pick this up, if you're not tipping the steelbook skyward, they're just going to start sliding out of their foam. So yeah, there's no lid, there's no extra cover here. The best solution I found was to just put the cardboard cover just on backwards to kind of keep the dust out, and then that way you can have that there, and then they don't slide out because there's something stopping them at the top. So that's my recommendation if you do get this set versus the regular, is to kind of put the cardboard sleeve on backwards and you can keep the dust out. But you get each movie on a steelbook. So here's Superman 1, Superman 1. You got Christopher Reeve, Superman there. You get the 4K and the Blu-ray. We'll talk about the problem with the Blu-ray. But essentially, the 4Ks, for the most part, are new transfers. The Blu-rays are repacks from the 2011 set. But more on that in a bit. I like the little DC logo here. This is basically just the poster art for each film. So here's Superman 2. You can see Superman and the 3 Kryptonian warriors there. And on the back, you've got Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut, since this does include the Richard Donner cut. For those that don't know the story here, I'll be brief. Superman 2 was released into theaters, and it wasn't the version that original director Richard Donner wanted. He worked on Superman 1 and 2 concurrently. They were filming them at the same time, and due to some really crazy behind-the-scenes stuff, he ended up leaving the project, and they brought in another director to reshoot 40% more of the movie. So essentially just the same thing that happened to Zack Snyder with Justice League. It's a Warner Brothers trend, but you do finally get the Richard Donner cut. This was something that fans petitioned for in the early 2000s, and there's a nice shot of Margot Kidder as Lois Lane there. But you do get both versions of the movie on 4K and Blu-ray, which is pretty cool. The Richard Donner cut's a little unfinished just because they didn't quite finish shooting it. Then there's the Kryptonians there doing their best Bohemian Rhapsody artwork impression. But yeah, I think the dual steelbook for this, pretty awesome. They could have put it in two separate ones if they had wanted to. Here's Superman 3. I don't remember anything about this movie besides Richard Pryor's in it. Superman 3, same deal, Richard Pryor, movies. Pretty nice and simple, honestly. And then we've got Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. The one that's infamously bad, but I kind of remember it more than Superman 3, so that says a lot. There's Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. And then we get the physical bonuses, which are in their own steelbook. This one's got the Action Comics #1 cover to it. Superman logo on the back. And it's so weird. I've never opened a steelbook and there not be a disc spindle. You get a digital code for all 5 movies, which is, 4 movies with 2 cuts of 2. Superman logo on the back. You get a shrunk down, which is appropriate because Brainiac's in it, a shrunk down version of Superman 78 #1. This is a comic they did recently that takes place after the movies and has Superman fighting Brainiac, and it is drawn and written to be the Christopher Reeve version of Superman. Great comic. I've read all 6 issues. I have the hardcover. It's great. Highly recommended, but it does give you kind of a sample preview. And then you get a certificate of authenticity where in red foil at the bottom it says, I got set 2,349 of 13,525. I don't know how they determined that number and if it's a reference to something. You get a lenticular card, which is essentially Zod, Ursa, and Non in their Phantom Zone prison. I wish it animated a little bit more, but that's pretty cool. And then you get this booklet, and this booklet just contains some mostly posters and production stills for each movie, which is pretty cool. I think that's a neat inclusion. I would have liked a little bit more from the booklet. I maybe just be spoiled by Arrow Video booklets where they give you like essays about the production history. But overall, this set, the actual steelbook comes with this booklet. It comes with the Phantom Zone card. It comes with the certificate of authenticity, and it comes with the little shrunk down comic. The regular set doesn't include that, but the regular set does have a digital code. So overall, packaging-wise, it's big, it's bulky, but I think the individual steelbook look is really, really nice, and that's kind of what I was going for, and I'm fairly happy with it overall. So now that we looked at the overall box set, let's talk about the discs and the contents on the disc, because that will go the same for the Steelbook edition or for the regular edition, since that only difference is the extra physical bonuses that the Steelbook comes with. So if you're looking at the regular edition, this part's also going to be really important to know. And how best do we approach doing the bonus features? Should we do a brief history? All right, you're getting a brief history time. So for the first time these movies were really bundled together on DVD, there were previous single disc releases. We have the Ultimate Collector's Edition for Superman. This is the Ultimate 14-disc collection. It comes in a giant metal box because steel, Man of Steel. Yeah, you get the pun. This was my big Superman set to have. It contains a whole heck of a lot of stuff, and it has become the basis for all future Superman movie sets. First of all, lenticular, just like the other thing has lenticular. This one's Superman breaking his own logo for some reason. And then on the back, you got Brandon Routh from Superman Returns. So first things first, let's go over what was included in this set. You have 14 discs, which contains 5 or 6 different movies, depending on how you're counting movies. You got Superman, you got Superman the Extended Edition, you got Superman 2, you got Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut, you got Superman 3, 4, and then Superman Returns, because at the time they were like, hey, Superman Returns is totally a sequel to Superman Quest for Peace, even though all these actors are way younger. They tried to keep it in the same continuity. And then you have a couple documentaries with Look Up in the Sky, The Amazing Story of Superman, and You Will Believe, The Making of a Saga. And then Bryan Singer's video journals, which is pretty cursed because Bryan Singer's a piece of crap. And then also included is a comic book, which, unlike the new set, is completely unrelated. It's just a random issue of John Byrne's Superman where I think he's fighting Mongol for some reason. And then you get this really cool booklet, which is like the coolest booklet ever, in that it just tells you about what's on each disc and gives you the chapter markers, but it's formatted like a newspaper. It's cute and adorable and made my job easy without having to pop all these discs in. So this was the original Ultimate Collector's Edition set. Now in 2011, those movies were upgraded to Blu-ray, and pretty much that set mirrors the DVD edition. That set I never picked up. I didn't feel the need at the time. I was a little bit of a late adopter to Blu-ray, not as late as some people who still don't have Blu-ray, but the point is that that set was cool because it was kind of like an upgrade. It contained all the bonus features from the Ultimate Collector's Edition, and that was pretty neat. It was like an exact clone, but with upgraded HD bonus features and HD movies, which was cool at the time. Now, here's the thing. They released some of them singly, like Superman Returns, as well as Superman 1 and Superman 2's Richard Donner cut specifically. So I have those, but more specifically, it is important that they released Superman Returns on its own, with all the bonus features that it contained in that DVD edition. Now, Superman Returns is not featured on the 4K set. Well, the movie was directed by Bryan Singer, and one of the stars was Kevin Spacey, so there's two really horrible people right there. But I don't think Warner Brothers is taking the moral high ground. They're still releasing a movie with Ezra Miller next month. So let's just consider that they finally acknowledge that Superman Returns is kind of its own thing, and maybe Crisis on Infinite Earths having Brandon Routh's Superman back as kind of his own thing was an indication of that. It really never felt like it should be with the other movies, but in the DVD and Blu-ray eras, they did. 4K leaving it out, that's fine. However, that does leave Superman Returns without a 4K. Does it need it? That's a question for other people. But if you are trying to get Superman Returns to go alongside your new 4K set, this single disc Blu-ray is going to be pretty much everything minus the Bryan Singer video journals, which you don't need anyways, they're not that good. So let's just say if you want Superman Returns, it's totally out there on a Blu-ray, and this is the best way to get it. Now, there are a couple things that have never been part of the box sets. First of all, Supergirl. Yeah, unfortunately, the Helen Slater Supergirl film, which is at least more memorable than Superman 3, has never been included with a box set of the others, even though it features the same Jimmy Olsen, produced by some of the same people, and should be included anyways, at least as a bonus disc. There are two cuts of this movie. This is a Warner Archive Blu-ray release, where for some reason the director's cut is a DVD and a international cut is a Blu-ray. To be honest, I don't know the production history of this film that much, but there are bonus features on here. So if you're wanting to make a more complete experience, Supergirl is available through the Warner Archive release, which you can probably only get from places like Amazon or Deep Discount, but it's out there. And then there's this, the thing I think you need to get if you don't have the Blu-ray or the DVD versions of Superman the movie, because our beautiful new 4K set leaves out the special edition, the extended cut that came out on its own DVD before being in this DVD set here. The extended cut that I think a lot of people prefer, that for some reason did not get a 4K release when Superman the movie came out in 2018 on 4K. More on that in a moment. This has only been released on Blu-ray on its own, and then this 2-pack with the extended 3-hour TV cut. You don't need the 3-hour TV cut. However, if you're trying to get all versions of the movie, this Blu-ray is sort of providing the TV cut for the first time and then giving you this actual disc, which is a repack from the 2011 set. But you can see it is a nice 2-disc set, and this contains all the bonus features about the special edition. So if you're trying to complete your collection, if you don't have the DVD set and you want to have, sort of everything that we consider part of this Superman franchise, the extra cuts, the Supergirl, you're going to need this set, probably in its normal release, that 2-pack, that Supergirl, and Superman Returns if you feel like it's necessary. So we're already up to here. But let's talk about bonus content and talk about why I have to keep all of this around to get everything. All right, let's talk Superman the movie. So, like I mentioned, this disc is a repack, the 2011 Blu-ray. The 4K disc is weird. There was a 2018 single release of Superman the movie on 4K. This is essentially the same video transfer, however, the audio is a little different. And this won't make a big difference for a lot of people. The audio transfer on the new set is simply the Dolby Atmos and the 2.0. There is no 5.1. And there is no 5.1 for any of the movies in the 4K set. It's just Dolby Atmos and 2.0. So if that's something that bothers you, there's not really a solution, but that 2018 4K does have that. If you never picked up that 2018 4K, you're totally cool just getting this, because it's basically the same experience. And in terms of the video quality, while I can't provide screenshots due to copyright stuff, I will say that in general, I think the new 4K transfers give you a more film-like experience than the previous Blu-ray editions do, especially because I was comparing them back and forth in this set as I was looking over discs. I think the new 4K transfers, or this 2018 4K transfer, look like a good upgrade. You get that more film-like quality, that depth of detail and color that we come to expect from 4K. However, that's only on here because you still have the 2011 transfer on the Blu-ray disc. It's a real bummer. It's a big discrepancy. Now, let's talk bonus features. So, first of all, the 4K disc contains the commentary track. The Blu-ray disc contains the commentary track, The Making of Superman the Movie, Superman and Mole Men, which is the pilot film for the George Reeves Superman show. That, for some reason, has been on every set. The Looney Tunes Superman cartoons, and then TV spots and trailers. Now, that sounds like a good amount of stuff. It is. It's essentially, you know, if we look back at our wonderful DVD sets newspaper edition, it's essentially everything. It's half of what everything you got in this DVD set. It was essentially like, you know, most of the first bonus disc. But then you're wondering what's missing. Well, you're missing, of course, the special edition. And the special edition's bonus features of the commentary track, Taking Flight, The Development of Superman, Making Superman, Filming the Legend, Magic Behind the Cape, Screen Test, Restored Scenes, additional music cues, and the music-only track. So, yeah, if you're seeking out the special edition, which should have gotten a 4K, I don't know if there's just elements don't exist for the new stuff in it. I don't know the details behind that. But if you're trying to get those bonus features, because it's a lot of stuff, you're going to want to get this. So it's kind of a bummer they couldn't just maybe, you know, leave out the extended cut, because most people don't care about that, but just toss this disc and make this a 3-disc steelbook. If you're repacking discs anyways, why not toss in the other cut of the movie? It's kind of a big exclusion. But luckily, because you can buy it on its own, it's something you can buy as a supplemental. It doesn't excuse the fact that that's a lot of content missing. Now, on the flip side, I'm happy to report Superman 2 isn't missing anything. The 4K disc has a commentary, the Blu-ray disc has a commentary, Making a Superman 2, Superman's Souffle deleted scene, First Flight, the Fleischer Superman series, which is about the Fleischer Superman shorts, and the 9 Fleischer Superman shorts. Okay, so this is the problem. The Superman shorts from Fleischer are classic, iconic shorts. They have been released on that Ultimate DVD Collector's Edition. They've been released on the Blu-ray. They've been released here. However, they've never been remastered. The unfortunate part is because they're reusing these old discs from 2011, the brand new 4K scanned HD remaster that comes out literally a week after this set does, you don't get those transfers on the bonus features here because these are the same discs from 2011. And that is a big bummer because now you're actually having to triple dip on things. Not only do you have to pick up Supergirl and the extended cuts as their own separate things, if you want the Fleischer cartoons in a nice new HD transfer that seems to be done pretty well, you have to buy a separate release when it could have just been included here because these came out 7 days apart. Warner Brothers, the hell? Like, this is just so annoying. It shouldn't bother me that much because ultimately this is like a Christopher Reeve Superman set, not a Fleischer Superman one. But including those old transfers with the scuffs, the dirt, the scratches, all the compression problems, including all those, again, right this close to when you're putting out a brand new transfer, it just sucks. I really wish they would have done new Blu-rays with the 4K transfers with the upgraded Fleischer cartoons. Moving on. Donner Cut, you get the introduction by Richard Donner and the commentary on the 4K, and then the Blu-ray comes with the introduction, the commentary, Superman 2 Restoring the Vision, the extra deleted scenes, and the 8 famous studio Superman shorts, which are always lumped together at the Fleischer Studios, but the studio actually changed names to Famous Studios. Well, the point is, you do get, you know, in this steelbook, all the Fleischer cartoons, but you might as well not watch them here because a much better version came out 7 days later. You know, praise the universe and the world around you because there's nothing missing from Superman 3's bonus features because all it ever had was the Making of Superman 3, deleted scenes, a commentary track, and theatrical trailer. So thank goodness we got everything for Superman 3. And same story goes for Superman 4. All the bonus features we always previously had, commentary track, the Superman 50th Anniversary Special, which was on a Superman 1 bonus disc here, and then they moved it to Superman 4 for the Blu-ray, but it's still here. Deleted scenes and theatrical trailer. Why are the worst movies the ones that got everything? And now we come to the bulk of the missing content. Like I mentioned, there was 2 documentaries on this set. They transferred over to the bonus disc of the Blu-ray set. Look Up in the Sky, The Amazing Story of Superman may be produced by Bryan Singer, but it's a decent enough documentary. It's good. You Will Believe the Making of a Saga is really good, and if you didn't want to have an extra bonus disc, it could have been distributed across the disc, because that is a 5-part documentary, but maybe because it has Superman Returns stuff in both of these, they felt like leaving it out. The unfortunate part is we also lose The Science of Superman, which was exclusive to the Blu-ray that wasn't on the DVD, and that's something I'm missing. The Mythology of Superman, which was also on these. The Heart of a Hero, a tribute to Christopher Reeve, which really should have been on the 4K set. And the biggest sacrifice of all, the 1958 TV pilot, The Adventures of Super Pup. Just kidding, we don't really need that. It's again this weird thing where they just started including like different legacy of Superman in this set, and then they've just carried it forward. But the point is that while some of these things are missing, you know, not necessarily we need this documentary. This is like covering the whole history of Superman. It's just weird that they couldn't just throw in another Blu-ray disc. They're already repacking stuff from the Blu-ray set, and we couldn't just get one more disc. Or two more discs. Just 2 more discs would have really rounded out the set. So at the end of the day, this new 4K set is cool, but it's lacking a lot. I think that my biggest disappointment does not come necessarily from the actual transfers of the films. I think all 4 movies and all 5 cuts look really great. I think saying this is a 5-film collection is a little bit disingenuous when the previous set was a 5-film collection, included Superman Returns. Getting 2 cuts of 1 movie. Is that a 5-film collection or like 4 movies and an extra cut? The problem I have is that once again, and I've done a whole separate video on this problem, once again, we have another 4K set where you got to keep around a bunch of stuff if you want extra content. At the bare minimum, you got to have this so you can have that Superman special edition, plus a lot of key bonus features. A lot of these bonus features here are really, really important to the actual like history of the film, and you barely get anything on Superman the movie in comparison because they put all the bonus features on the special edition disc. What I don't get, I mean, yeah, you don't need the TV cut. This disc here, and the bonus disc from the Blu-ray that contain the features from here that aren't in here, that's 2 discs. If you didn't want to include it, you know, why'd you bother repacking discs? The thing is, I think the ultimate disappointment here is the fact that I look at this set and I'm like, all right, if you're going to repack discs, why aren't you repacking all the discs? If you're not going to make new discs, because if they made new discs, they could have included some more of those bonus features, but they didn't. Leaving out an entire cut of Superman the movie, while also going, yeah, we do need to have the Richard Donner cut get its own double cased release. Like this could have been, you know, they could have done this for Superman the movie as well. And then also adding to that, like, you know, just the worst for wear part of this is the fact you get a steelbook that doesn't even hold a disc, so I can't even shove some discs over. I don't know how I feel about this set. I think in general, the steel box is kind of ridiculous and you don't really need it. I'm happy with it because I do love ridiculous sets. I mean, clearly I own the big old DVD set. But the problem I have is that this is for the picture quality, this is for completing the cuts in different movies, and then I also still need to keep this around specifically for like the last 3 discs of this set having features that aren't anywhere else. And that is my problem. We can't get an all-in-one set anymore, and this had that opportunity to do it. And maybe if they didn't want to include those documentaries with the standard set, it could have been included in the Steelbook, just to give it some extra ambiance besides, here's a small booklet and a lenticular card or certificate of authenticity, a comic that I already have in a larger print form. It just doesn't feel totally as worth it. So I would say pick up the 5-pack of the actual 4Ks, the standard edition. Maybe not pay full price because you are missing a lot of content. I mean, this is a lot of stuff to be missing. But I gotta say, unlike the Batman 4Ks, where I felt like those were a great upgrade, you didn't have any missing bonus features there. The Blu-rays were the new transfers, just as the 4Ks were. It was a really nice release. This is kind of a mess and indicative of Warner Brothers' whole situation at the moment. So, in general, I'd say if you love these movies and you have previous editions, you're good to go. If you're trying to buy them for the first time, at the very least, I do recommend getting this because this disc here is really important. And yeah, honestly, Supergirl ain't any worse than those 2 movies, so it's worth picking up. And if you like Superman Returns, you have that option, but it is just a bummer that we can't get an all-in-one set. And on that note, that does it for this video talking about the Superman 4K set. There will be more Blu-ray and 4K reviews in the future, very near future as well, in addition to everything else I have on the channel under the disc discussion playlist. So check it out if you haven't. Hit subscribe, notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this, and leave any questions you have in the comments below. I'll try to answer them. It's just really frustrating that we can't just go, oh yeah, this is a great upgrade, when just a few years ago they did that for Batman. And Superman, once again, got the short end of the stick. So that does it for this review. Also, be sure to check out my live streams Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern here on this YouTube channel. My social media, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Soundout12, as long as those are still applicable. And you can check out Hero Club at hero-club.com for hero news and more. Check out my awesome graphic designer on Twitter at darkclaw643. And until next time, this is Soundout saying goodbye.